Alrighty then. So welcome everyone to today's online training, and basically we want to be a competent golfer, and today we're really talking about the 5 steps to competent golf. And welcome, Pete. How would you define a competent golfer?
A competent golfer obviously would be a confident golfer because they would be able to control the golf ball and they'd be able to control their ability to focus. They'd have it. There's quite a bit to playing golf. There's the technique of hitting the golf ball. That's important. But then you got course management and you got self-management. So I think today's going to be a pretty interesting topic. Thanks very much, Chris.
Yeah, certainly is. And all right, so let's have a look at the first step, you know, of determining, to become a competent golfer. And it's more got to do with where you're at. So we've got to determine the gap. Okay, so the gap is basically where the difference between where you're at and where you would like to be as far as your scores go. So let's just go around the room and talk about the scores. I know some of you might have different goals here, but just if you talk about scores. So, for example, my scoring, I guess, currently would be, low to mid 70s. But my goal would be to get back into the 60s, around 5, 6 under par. That would be my goal. At the moment, probably between 200 and 5 over. Pete, what would be your goal?
Well, basically, breaking my age is I like to do that every time. So that I have to break 65. No, 70. I have to shoot 75 or better. But my ultimate goal for this year is I want to be shooting 70 or below as my best, and be able to average 72 or 73 every round. That would be, I'd like to be able to be around about that, but be able to shoot the odd score where I can break 70. So that's my goal. My gap, probably at the moment, it's because I'm not, no excuse, but if you don't go out and play a lot, so my real goal is to go out and play more regularly. So I'd like to get out and play 9 holes a couple of times a week and play 18 holes once a week. That's my goal going forward. And
Excellent.
that in turn will help me lower the score.
Fantastic. Right, what would be your goal, Bill? I know you've got more enjoyment goals rather than scoring goals, but what would be your goal?
You asking
Yeah,
me? Yeah.
yeah, Bill. Yeah.
No, my goal is to keep enjoying the golf, and it's a social event as far as I'm concerned. And I'm not interested in the score. Sorry about that. I'm interested
No,
in
I,
hitting well and playing
That's
well and enjoying it, but
yeah,
I'm totally unfussed about the score. So am I
yeah,
now banished from the class?
yeah. No,
no,
you are not banished from the class. That's an excellent goal. But
that's
Pete,
so. Would you say, Bill, that your goal is to enjoy hitting the ball sweetly, hitting some good,
Yeah,
solid, compress the
absolutely.
ball.
Yeah, they're my goals to hit the ball well and feel good about it. But I'm not worried about the sum total. But just in each individual shot, I want to hit it well.
That's the
excellent,
goal.
excellent,
Fantastic.
very good. How about you? How about you, Lee? Well, do you have a goal this year?
Yeah, my goal would be to play more and continually shoot my age.
Okay,
Shooting the
so
age isn't, shooting the age should not be a problem
Yeah, no,
because I'm
you'll be
82.
well.
So 82 is so I can do much better than that.
Oh,
mm,
I thought you were 72. That would have been really good.
No, well,
aim for 72. So,
Yeah. No,
below
it's
below that.
all right. How about you, Gareth?
Mine would be probably similar to Bill's, but in terms of playing more, I'll get there probably about June or July once I finish doing this work around the house. But yeah, to be able to confidently hit the ball, not come over the top and slice it all the time, which I'm sort of starting to get some progress on. If I was to score, it would be, around about the low 90s. But yeah, I seldom ever keep score because I forget to write it down and then I've forgotten it all. Potentially for something like me, I could say per hole, around 1 or 2 over would be good. Confidently being able to drive down the fairway would make a huge difference. They're the type of goals that I'm looking to achieve in the next sort of 6 or 7 months. And then once I've got that level of mastery, perhaps I'll be more interested in what the score is.
Okay, excellent. So you're building some.
A great viewpoint. That's very good, logical thinking, Gareth.
Yeah, thanks.
Excellent. What about you, Billy?
Well, my goal, my ultimate goal is to break my age. Right, it's just what I'm want to do in the next year or two.
Okay.
I also I need to play a lot more golf though. I'm just sort of like I noticed even though I had a hit on Friday and I'm very confident chipping out on a pitching green and chipping green but when you get out there and you've got a chip, all of a sudden things look different,
Yeah, which we'll get to in a moment. Yeah, that's good. So score wise, do you have any scores? So you want it?
Yeah, I just want to. At the moment, I'm just aiming to just get rid of. It's not so much having more good holes, just having less bad ones.
Right. Okay, that's bad ones. Okay. All right. Very good. So let's have a look at where are you with the following skills and where's the end goal. So if you just go through your putting, like even putting, you can. Some people kick their stats on putting. How many putts they have per round. Obviously, the best players in the world they probably average around 28 putts in a game of golf. Would you say that, Pete?
Yeah, that's on the tour. The winners are up there. They definitely don't have any more than 30 putts around on average when they're in winning or in the top 10 in a tournament.
Yeah, so that would be like almost like 1.5 putts per hole. Obviously, the goal to start with would be to just have 2 putts a hole on average. You got to work out, where is your putting as far as ability to get the ball in the hole. Do you struggle with your short putts, your long putts? Where do you want to finish up, and where are you currently? So, if you set some goals around your little practice when you're practicing, like Pete, you did a drill where you got out to what distance you get out to, and how many did you get?
Yeah, no, I'm just trying to get 100 in a row at 10 feet now. That's 3 meters. So I just started back in training again the last few weeks, and the best I've got is 52 in a row from 10 feet. But it's so the laws of accuracy is a great way if you're going to practice. If you put that as part of your practice, you don't have to do it all, but you might put 30 minutes into it. It definitely will. It'll stabilize. It'll make you a lot more consistent, and then in turn you'll build a lot more mental confidence because you can measure it.
Yeah. So
let's just measure it. You can't manage it. So you got to be able to know, where you're at.
Let's just go around. What's one thing you struggle with in your putting, and where do you want to be with your putting? Let's go, Billy Webb.
It's just lately that a lot of my putts have been online and short. So when I do miss, so I'm generally fairly decent putter. So the other day I played and everything I missed was online and short. So that's the annoying thing. So
Okay.
a little bit more
So,
aggressive.
so a bit more calibration, just a bit more hitting the green and practicing on the green, a bit like me, same thing.
Yeah.
Like I lose distance control because I don't practice my putting enough. Yep. Okay. Excellent. What about the other Bill? What about you, Bill? What's one thing you struggle with in your putting?
Sage comment. I haven't got any comment particularly. That putting's okay, not great, but okay.
Okay. And what do you think you need to do to get better?
Well, I think I would need to practice more, but I'm a bit limited in that, and so I would need to practice more.
Yeah, and practice could be just at home, just on the carpet or on a putting mat. That could be practice as well. I guess it's the discipline of doing that constantly to see the results. Okay, excellent. Gareth.
Lining up.
Okay, lining up. So you've got to get your setup routine you would like to improve.
Yeah, I think I'm okay with the mechanics and the setup routine, but sometimes I'm just not. Maybe it's reading the green, because I think it's going to go left and it goes right. It's probably reading the green, because if I do it on a mat, it goes where I want it to go. If I do it on a green, not so much. So, like Bill, I haven't been practicing a lot with putting. So I've gone downhill a bit. But I think the way to fix it would be to go and practice on a putting green and just get used to slopes and stuff like that and do the laws of accuracy.
Yeah, exactly. Just do the with the yardstick, the 4 inches at a time.
Yeah.
Lee, how about yourself?
My distance is usually okay, so I basically would just work on start line, get the ball to start on line where I want it to start.
Okay, very
I
good.
just
And
brought this out for those last two requests. A tape measure, you run this out to 20, 30 feet. And on the line, if it's a straight putt, you can put it parallel, but you can put it out on the line that you think. And then when you set up parallel using this on the ground, then it's much easier to verify A square, or you close or you open, but also are you starting it on line? If the ball starts parallel to this line, if I run this here, now just imagine this line going all the way out to 30 feet, and you had the ball here, and it's that's the line. With a little bit of trial and error, you'll get the tape measure aiming how far off line. So you'll learn to read greens, Gareth, when you use the tape measure, because there's no guessing. It's exactly, get it to where when it starts straight on the line for about 4 to 6 feet. If it goes into the line, you got to work on your stroke. If it goes parallel to the line for the first 4 to 6 feet, then you get how far it is. So you'll know how far a 10-foot putt is, or a 20-foot, or 15, or 35, whatever. The tape measure, we all need one of these in your golf bag now. And then you just does a lot. You can read greens helps you read greens for slope. If you put it out on the line, you know how far the putt is. No guessing there. And when you set up, you'll work out whether you can hit the ball straight where you aim. So I think this is a decent length tape measure is a very important teaching aid, learning aid.
yeah, very good. So you got your little tape measure and your big tape measure, Pete.
Oh yeah, no, they got both. This one.
So a little tape measure for short distance and big tape measure for longer.
This one here, this one's goes out to 25 feet. That's when you get 100 in a row at 25 feet, you know you're putting pretty good. The guy that Sasha Yuganovsky, who wrote the book, The Laws of Accuracy, he was able to get 100 in a row himself out to 16 feet. 100 in a row, 16 foot on a flat putt. And most people would say that's impossible. Well, he's done it, and I believe him, because I've had one guy get 167 putts in a row from 10 feet. And doing this Laws of Accuracy, I got 310 in a row from 8 feet. Now, according to some of the short game books, they say two things that I do know that are not correct. One is from 6 feet, even a robot set up with a pendulum stroke couldn't get 100 in a row. I think the best the robot could do on a good putting surface was about 96. So the human, when you use the laws of accuracy, you can beat a robot. And the other thing is age. I've discovered that it has nothing to do with how old you are or how young you are. It depends on how much you apply yourself to the laws of accuracy. You got that, Billy?
Yeah.
Dr. Bill?
Yeah, I think you're right.
Now, in your case, if you got to the putting green and you just did 5 minutes and you went at 4 inches, you hit, say, three putts in a row, then you went to 8 inches, 12, and you did that out to 3 feet, out to 1 meter. You hit 3 balls in a row. You'll be surprised how quickly you'll start to build your competence, but also your confidence and your distance control. So just do that 3 balls in a row at 10 centimeters, 20, 30, 40, out to 1 meter.
Yeah.
You just do that as part of your thing. It'll take you 5 minutes, and that will improve your ability to big time both stroke and distance control.
Very good.
And aim, getting all set up too, rather than getting upset.
Yeah,
that's very important. Okie
Excellent.
dokie.
So you want to do the same for chipping. You know, determine, okay, what's the end goal with your chipping? Obviously, chipping, you want to be able to get up and down. You know, I'd say, if you can get up and down 7 or 8 times out of 10, that would be brilliant. And you just got to work out how many times you get up and down at the moment. What's your mechanical goals, and what's your practice goals? You know, when you're shipping around the green. Also out in the course, keep the stats. Some people love to keep statistics. Say with pitching. What problems might you have with pitching? So determine your ultimate goal with pitching, which same as chipping, you're looking to get up and down, like one shot near the hole and then 1 putt in. That would be exactly what we're after. But at the worst, 1 pitch shot and 2 putts. That would be the worst case scenario. Same thing with bunker play, very similar to pitching. Determine what you want to have, like create that vision of what you want to have, and then put it in a so work out where you are, where you want to be, and what's stopping you from hitting those shots, and also just coming and seeing a golf professional like ourselves. That helps create that vision. That's what I try and do with my students, right, Pete?
Correct. Good. It's just there's a little bit determining where you are and where you want to be. I think that's a good starting point.
Yeah.
So what follows on from there, Chris? Because there's a little bit more to it, I know.
There is. So obviously,
I'm desperate to get on to the next step.
So
does that happen next week? Because
so you've got the other steps, the other skills such as, fairway shots, you've got your iron play, what's your same thing again. Driving, Now you've also got things like flexibility. Okay, well, is it because are you limiting your ability because of your flexibility? I know flexibility is very important, right, Pete? Flexibility and power, but
Yeah.
out of the two of them, would you say flexibility is more important?
Yeah, I just noticed there's a big thing on that. Uh, Scotty Scheffler, but also Tiger Woods with his injuries. Uh, Flexibility. There's a big thing on taking supplements to help your joints, but just doing exercises, qigong, tai chi, yoga. I like qigong and tai chi because it's a little less stressful. See what I'm doing here is this little exercise. It's called the infinity sign. So what I'm doing, this exercise works from the joints in behind my big toe, behind my little toe, all the way into the ankle, and what I'm doing here. It's good for your mental focus too. So I go to the outside, I go back to the heel. Now when I go to the other side, now I push my weight over to the big toe of the little of the left foot, and then I go to the little toe, then I go back to the heel, and now I go from this heel over to the big toe of this foot. So this action, it's the infinity sign. Now it's a little bit. So if I keep doing that, I'm really getting a good exercise on the joints all down below, from the hip socket to the knees, right down to the bones in the feet. So just a little exercise like that's a qigong exercise, just to be able to do the shoulders up and back, to do your hands. There's a martial artist, a world champion. I went along for some karate exercises, and I never got off the floor. All he did was sit there and gave me these exercises, and one of them was, we do this one in our program. Just if you put your hands out, guys, put your hands out like this. So we might as well get this. Now you push out. So you're pushing out. Now you turn and just go in. And when you keep going and by doing this, it's great for your wrists and for your fingers and your elbows. And these are kind of qigong exercises, tai chi, qigong. So you just look up Lee Holden, L-E-E Holden, Holden on YouTube. 7 minutes of magic. 7 minutes. It actually goes 9. So I think he was just trying to cut it in so you'd have a look. But it's a fantastic. Just get every morning, get up and watch the YouTube on that, and do it. You'll be surprised just doing that how it gets your all your joints and your mind, because while you're thinking, while you're doing this, you're focusing. So it's not just helping your body; it's helping your body connect and getting your ability to concentrate.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's a pretty big section we've done there today, Chris. We have to come back for the next section.
Yeah, it is. I mean, and you can get, each one of these is a section in itself. But and then obviously we've got speed of the swing, which a lot of it is working out and flexibility to get more speed. I just had a junior I used to teach, Chris Summerfield. He's in US college golf now, and he's starting to do all these videos online about how to improve your speed. But in the last 4 years, he's improved his speed by 20 miles per hour, which is pretty incredible. And
Did you you say 15 miles per hour?
I said 20 miles per hour.
20.
20.
So Chris Summerfield, last 4 years, he's improved his speed by 20 miles per hour. And how he did it was by regular training in the gym. Like he works out probably an hour and a half, 2 hours a day. Probably 5 days a week. But anyway, he's up on Facebook, and he's starting to educate people how he did it, which is quite amazing. And that equates. How much would that equate to in distance, do you think, boys? What do you think, Pete? What do you think, Lee?
I think about 40 yards
Or at least,
Well,
yeah.
minimum.
Definitely minimum 2 yards per mile per hour if you're hitting it in the middle of the bat. Of course, if you're not hitting it in the middle of the club face, speed's not much good, and squareness. So it's a speed's great when it's making squareness, when you're making solid impact on a consistent basis.
So what his testimony was because he was improving his speed through getting physically better. Of course, his scores got better, his swing got better. He could get it more in the middle of the club face, and I think a lot of the young athletes these days, that is a big part of their program, which is why they can hit it so far.
Yes.
Anyway, fitness is becoming probably bigger than it's ever been in golf, I'd say, Pete.
Definitely. And when you're starting out, but when you're an adult, and maintaining flexibility and maintaining range of motion is also super important. But flexibility, it's without flexibility, muscle strength is not worth very much.
Exactly.
The old days, you used to see guys with big, strong muscles, but they couldn't use their levers. But the combination, flexibility and strength. And I got one. This is one of the super speed sticks. The guys came along with these, and the different weights. They've got some training with these that makes a big difference.
Yeah, what were you going to say, Lee?
I don't know whether whether you're done with flexibility ends it, but I think sequence is really important also. You can work on sequence.
The sequence is Dr. Bill, what's the sequence?
Sequence is the secret.
There you go. You're on top of the world. That's it. If you're out of sync, you will sink to the bottom.
Exactly.
So you got to be that's very important. Very well put, Lee. Because if you go away with a laggy draggy this way, you get more speed with less effort. If you go away clubhead first, you're out of sync, and then you'll be on the wrong path, and also you contract the muscle, so you don't get the stretch. When you go away this way, the swinging club helps stretch you, and you wind up. The swinging club winds you up.
Yeah. Excellent.
Yeah.
So that's the first thing. You've got to determine the gap. And there's quite a bit in this, in each piece. Anyway, it's all part of becoming a better golfer. Also, the big thing with becoming a better golfer is get rid of limiting beliefs. So you will have some kind of beliefs within your golf, or it could be an ability related belief, like your belief. Sorry, if you we have an old saying, right? If you think you can, you can. If you think you can't, you can't. But whatever you think, you're dead right. Is that right, Pete?
Yeah, you'll be 100% right.
You're 100% right.
And also on top of that, if you have to think on the golf course, you get paralysis through analysis. So eventually, you got to be able to play out of your mind. But in the process, you definitely, the thoughts you do have got to be on the constructive side, not on what you don't want, but what you want to do. Yeah.
Yeah, always.
Yeah.
So, we all fall into little traps in different parts of our golf game or life, around these areas. But yeah, if you believe you can be a good putter, and work out a way how to do it. Anyway, your beliefs are very important. What makes the ball get up in the air? That would be another idea. Okay, you got to hit down to make it go up. Yeah, so many different beliefs. So you got to determine what your beliefs are, and then question if they're actually correct or not.
What do you reckon, Billy Webb? What do your belief that how important is good thinking?
Well, I've always told myself that I was a good putter. Even when I'm not putting well, I still keep telling myself that. Like years ago, I remember I held literally 2 90-footers in a row. And the first one I held, that was in a pro-am. The guy threw the ball back to me and said, I'll give you $500 if you can do that again. Anyway, I held it again and won 500 off him. And the difference is that, everyone was trying to get to 3 foot, whereas I was trying to hold it. So if I did miss it, I always got inside 3 foot as such, It was just with my mind, just with nothing else. Not with the greatest technique around, just sheer belief,
Very good.
If
Excellent. Okay, so
you try to get to 3 foot, you end up at 6 foot. That's what I'm saying, basically.
Yeah,
I'm
very
there.
good. So you got your beliefs. You got to get rid of limiting beliefs and replace them with what you want. Step 3 is you've got to have a calendar. So when you're organize your calendar around achieving your skill goals. You've got to block certain parts in your calendar and in your weekly calendar and then your days, to achieving these different goals. And I know there's only a certain amount of hours in a day, but you've got to be able to put things in your calendar, Pete. Is that right?
That's a very important thing that I know that's on my to-do list, and it's going to be it's going off my to-do list and going on my to-done list.
Yeah.
That's a really important thing. When you seem to have so many different things we want to do in a day, and if you want to be a good golfer, you've got to pput practice time in. It can be on the carpet. It can be
step forward a bit. Sorry, you're in the light.
Yeah. I thought I'd be under the light. It didn't. It couldn't see the light. Okay. Just where is it? There it is. You want to carry a yardstick or a piece of dowel somewhere around the house, a couple of pieces, and just picking it up, putting your hands, on it, getting a grip, getting, where am I? There I am. This is, I took a leaf out of Chris's book. I got a wooden spoon. I thought you'd like this.
Yeah.
And just have one of these sitting next to your couch. When you're watching TV, you can be practicing your golf. We call it reach and withdraw. You take it up there, put it in your hand, put your hand on from the coach program, by the way. Thursday, second step will be putting the right hand on, but just doing this, just do this often, and before you know it, you don't have to think about your grip. Very important. And then just get the feeling. Not Toyota, Billy, but the golf feeling. So just doing that, you can be practicing your golf while you're watching your favorite TV show, especially if you have to have you're not on the ABC and you got ads. Okay.
Excellent.
So practice with a purpose. And
Yeah. So
little bit
yeah. So
often.
yeah. So a little bit often. Yeah. So organize your calendar around achieving your goals, and then obviously practice your skills. So for each skill, work on your technique through drilling at home on the practice area, as Pete just described. So once you've got your calendar, work out your and work on your different skills. And the final one, Pete, is then take it to the course. You can do all your practice and preparation, but you've still got to hit that one shot at a time. And the course is no greater educator than that. So when you're on the golf course, you want to play golf, don't play golf swing. And you've got to be very disciplined in your routines when playing. Make sure you stick to stick to the process, and eventually your shots just get better and you play better. Don't start playing golf swing all the time out on the golf course.
Correct. Yeah, no, the golf course, you got to put the golf course on your training map, because even if you just go out and play a few holes, you don't have to even play 9, play 3 holes or after work or before work, or have a day off. But anyway, going to the golf course, and people say to me, well, I just had the lesson and you got me to work on blah, it might be the pivot or whatever. I say, well, do the drill to build the skill, but when you're out on the golf course, there it is, that's what I'm looking for. Someone says, well, what can you think about I said, the only thing that really works on the golf course that I know gets your maximum result is to go through your routine. Something's happened to my machine, that's okay. But now, your routine, but now take it back slow and then hit the ball and finish in balance. So that's the deal. So take it back slow and hit the ball and finish in balance. And that's about all that you can think about on the golf course. Slow, hit, and watch the ball finish. If you can take that idea to the golf course, that's about the max. You don't want to be working on your knee action, your pivot, or whatever you got to do there where you drill that. You drill, and then you let go and you just trust. Now, if you don't drill and to change your swing, if you don't drill away from the golf course, it's too late on the golf course. So that's
Yeah, so just trust the process, I think, is the important thing. Like, we build quite an exact routine and technique. Obviously, the more you've drilled it in practice, then you get out on the golf course and it's in.
The more you drill the things, the more you can work on whatever you're trying to do, sequence, whatever the case may be, in your mind. And if you're vivid enough in your mind, the mind supposedly can't tell the difference between a real experience and one vividly imagined.
Mm.
But if you've never done the drilling, you don't have that movement pattern in your head in order to get better and get that pattern so it's subconscious instead of conscious.
correct. Yeah, the skill and the thrill is in the drill. So if you don't drill, you're a dill. I'll just throw that extra one in there for you, Gareth. I don't think I've used that before.
The first time I've heard the
Yep. Okay.
All right, let's go around the room and we'll just get one thing everyone learned from today. we'll start with you, Gareth. What did you get out today? Anything in particular there?
Oh, look, I think it's just a good reminder to not overthink when you're actually playing a game. Like I've heard you guys say that before, but in practice you kind of do. So the game is just going to the course is just for fun. So forget. And I like what Pete said. Just God, I can't remember now, but it was just like hit and then like watch the ball follow through.
Take it back slow.
Take it back slow. That's it. Yeah.
Take it back slow. Hit the ball. Take it back slow. Hit the ball and finish in balance.
Mm.
Wow. I didn't have time to think about my swing.
Yeah.
So that's the way. Golf course, you play golf, you don't play golf swing.
Mm.
Yeah, that's a hard thing to say when you haven't got a swing. I know. So, they're separate entities. You got to build the technique, and that's where our program, our system is here to do that. The competent golfer. We're just kind of setting the scenes to build the technique, and then we're preparing you for the next 20 years. That's the program. The program actually goes for 25 years, so you've still got a few years left.
Yeah.
Okay.
Excellent. And all right, Lee, what'd you get out today? Anything?
It reminds me of something years ago when I first came to California. I went to a Tim Galloway who wrote Inner Golf seminar, and I had lunch with one of his partners. And what he says is, in order for you to get into your subconscious mind, you want to be unconscious. And what you need to do is tell the conscious mind, and his image was this: you have a genie that will destroy you if you leave him alone. And you tell that genie to go to see that pole over there, 1,000 foot high, keep going up and down it until I tell you to do something different. So that way you're putting your conscious mind over there so your subconscious can play the thing. But in order to get to the subconscious, you got to do the drills. Otherwise, it never works.
And you just say that first bit again, Lee. I didn't quite get. That was something pretty special. What did you tell about the conscious mind? What do you have to do?
You have to. What the guy told me, who was Tim Galloway, when we had lunch, he said, what you've got to do is occupy the conscious mind so the subconscious can come forward. And his image was, there's a pole over there and you got a genie, and the genie is going to destroy you if you don't give him something to do. So you tell the genie to go up and down the pole until I tell you to do something different. And now I'm occupying the conscious mind so my subconscious can come forward. I've had times where I remember playing one round where I was about 3 or 4 under after about 7 holes at night, and the guys were moving their shadow over my ball, and I never even saw the shadow. But I mean, sometimes you get there. That's the zone. You're in the zone, and that's what you want to try. That's the ultimate I think you want to get toward. That's what we all work for.
Fantastic. Okay.
All right, Bill, what did you get out today?
Well,
Bill.
I was particularly interested in Peter's last thing, the take it back slow, hit the ball and finish, as was Gareth. But I was intrigued by the take it back slow, because I've never heard you guys talk about that very much when we were doing in tempo and stuff in the last few weeks. There hasn't been any mention of that. I felt there was an emphasis that you need to be quick. I've been trying to bloody speed up how quickly I get that club back. So I'm just interested that you say on the golf course, take it back slow. That I found intriguing.
It used to be a back sling, didn't it, Bill?
What, beg your pardon?
A back sling, it was described as.
Yes, well, no, I'm sure it still is, but it was the actual use of the word slow. I've never heard slow being recommended at all.
Well,
so
if I do this, when I do that, it's see, I'm doing it when I get this way. I'm slow now. Now it will sling. They're not contradictory, Gareth. See, when I do this, that's slow. Now see how fast it. I didn't do the fast. The club does the work. Let the club do the fast. You just give it a blast.
Yep.
Take it back slow and then throw. You hear the swoosh. See? Take it back slow.
Yeah, as Pete
You
says,
want your speed
take
at the
it back
bottom. You don't
slow,
want your
pick up
speed
the
in the
slow.
backswing.
So you say, Pete, take it back slow to pick up the flow.
To pick up the flow.
Hmm.
That's the go.
And that's
Okay.
the go. All right, excellent, Bill. What about you, Billy? What'd you get out today?
Oh, yeah, just overall, I thought it was quite good, and I just sort of learned little bits here and there, sort of thing, just as we're going along. Nothing concrete. I just think that taking it to the course is important, though. I've got to start playing more and thinking less on the course. Thinking not about your swing, but more so about the result.
Yeah, more the process. Like as you said, if you just keep going through the process each time, eventually you don't think about anything anyway.
Mm.
Yeah.
All right,
Process.
Pete, show us the process. Just talk your way through it.
The routine. Nothing but the routine. So help me, golfer. So okay.
All right, beautiful, Pete. Straight up in the mountains.
I have to keep taking those lessons. Yeah, away you go.
All right, well, we finish up there, Pete. Thank you very much for
Thanks
a
very
great
much.
session.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, gents, for tuning in.
Thank you very much.
Yeah,
Thanks.
excellent session. We'll look forward to. Sorry.
Yeah, the one thing, don't forget Thursday. One session's at 8 a.m. in the morning, and then another one at 8:30 p.m. is the coach.
Okay.
Join up.
What's that?
It's the first 4 weeks of this program is free for you and your friends. So tell all your friends that they can coach the coach. And people think, oh, why do I have to be a coach? Well, you're with yourself 24/7, so you have to learn how to coach. So then you can help your PGA or your professional golf coach. You get more out of your lessons when you know how to coach yourself. So this program is designed to complement the competent golfer.
And the number one way to learn, remember, is learning how to coach someone else. It's actually because when you learn and how to coach, it makes you think about what the precision of what you're actually doing and how you got to get better. You look it up on ChatGPT. What's the number one way to learn? You'll see it. That's what comes up.
Is that on this Thursday, did you say?
Oh yeah, so
Every Thursday, yep.
How to coach. So how to be your own best coach.
If you go onto the crokergolfsystem.com website, Bill, and there's two buttons there. One's on the competent golf and one's on the coach the coach. Click both of them and just listen to what I have to say.
Okay.
I did a special little video in there on. Have you had a look at the video, Lee? Have you had a look at the video on the coach on?
You mean from last week? From last
no,
week?
It's brand new. No, it's a brand new. Just go on to Croker Golf System.
Okay.
.com. Click on both the competent golfer and the coach, and you'll see that I give quite a bit of a spiel. Took me a lot of concentration to be able to get all that out with the exact words. So
excellent.
It'll tell you how important Gareth coach the coach is.
Fantastic.
All right, guys.
All right, thank you, everybody. Thanks,
Thank you.
Pete. Thanks, Jens. See you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See you in the next session. Cheers. Bye.
See you on the leaderboard.
There you go.